Do you hate the thought of working past 55 or 60? Do you hate not being able to live the life you deserve today? Do you hate not knowing what your financial future looks like? It's time to stop doing what you hate. Here's your host, Mr. Harold Green.
Aloha, everybody. This is Harold Green of Brightree Financial Group, and it is time to stop doing what you hate. How y'all doing? I'm doing pretty good today. It's a Saturday for me, and I've had a very, very, very interesting week. And honestly, I don't remember the last time I had a boring week. It's been a long time since I had a boring week. And although these interesting weeks, sometimes they can be draining, sometimes they can be demoralizing, they can be uplifting, they can be all kinds of stuff. But again, I'm excited to be here sharing today's show with you folks. And I'm pretty excited about it, quite honestly, because it's something that's near and dear to my heart, something that I've been thinking about for a long time. And, in my self-reflection, I always look back and just kind of wonder, how did I get here? What happened? It's kind of rhetorical, but it's really neat just to kind of look back over my life and look at where I grew up and where I am and where I'm headed. And so I want to give you guys a little sneak peek into my mind and what I was thinking and how I actually came up with the title of today's show. I was sharing a story with someone in Starbucks, one of the, I don't know what you call them, but they get your coffee and they give it to you. So I don't want to mess up anybody's title. So, and it's just funny how the conversation came about. And I came up with the title of the show, From Biscuits to Business. And it's about how I, at 16 years old, was given the keys to one of the most profitable Burger Kings in the United States of America. At 16 years of age, I was waking up 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, driving an hour away to get to a job where I had the keys to the Burger King. And my job was making the biscuits because I had got so good at it that they said, Harold, you know what? We're going to trust you with this. You're going to be responsible for making sure there's enough biscuits for the morning rush. At that time, okay, we were doing about $10,000 an hour at this one little Burger King store. It was mad crazy. And so I want to talk to you folks today about how I went from having very little and being just not being much about anything to where I am right now. And it's called From Biscuits to Business. So are you ready? 1, 2, 3, let's get it. I want to say let's eat it, but let's get it. And so our mission here at Brightree is to help the middle class. And not just the middle class, but anybody who would listen to me, anybody who would hear what I've been cooking and then just kind of like let it marinate and then, cook it up yourself and then put it into action. Anybody who has a heart to listen, anybody who hear what I'm trying to say, if you just take this and you put it into practice, you're going to go really, really far. And how do I know this? I've done it with my own 2 kids. I've done it with myself and I've done it with 2 kids. So if I can do it with myself and I can do it with 2 kids and I can do it with clients, I'm sure I can help you in some kind of way or the other. But you have to have a heart to listen. You got to be willing to take this information and run with it. Not just be like, oh, yeah, you're successful now. You're just like everybody else. No, I'm not. I'm still just like you. In some senses, I've just gotten better at certain things, and that's what it's going to require. And so our mission here at Brightree, again, is to help the middle class, right? And a lot of times you don't have a lot when you come in. You don't have everything you think you're going to need, when you come in. You haven't met with a planner before. You haven't talked to a financial advisor, and maybe you have, and maybe things got screwed up somewhere. Maybe you took a wrong turn or something like that, or maybe somebody steered you the wrong way. But that's okay. If you're listening to me right now, it means you have a second chance, a third chance, and a fourth chance. If you're not dead, okay, we can make something happen. I've always had a little knack for taking something small and turning it into something decent or magnificent or something marvelous. I've always had a knack for that, right? And where did it come from? And I'm going to share with you where it came from. So if you can just kind of bear with me and hear me out, hear out my whole entire story. It's very diverse, but just listen. So As a kid, I would wake up at 5 years of age and I would beg my granddad to take me to work with him because he had his own business. I would beg him. And it was dangerous because they had a forestry clearing business where I told you guys a story. They would go out and they would, he would meet with landowners and they would give him contracts and stuff like that to clear so many acres of land. And basically, they told him, "We'll pay you to clear the land, and then you get to keep the wood." Or something like that. I don't remember exactly how it went, but I know he got paid for the wood because we'd take the wood to the paper mill, and the paper mill would basically turn this wood into paper through a solution that they processed that they had. And my granddad got paid certain amounts of money for so many acres of quarters or whatever, right? And it was a hard job. We would end up going to the paper mill every single day. Now, if it rained, then we couldn't work and we didn't get paid. And sometimes we had to do that as well. So my granddad said, "Okay, I'll tell you what, I'll give you a little axe and then you can go trim the trees because, these pine trees had branches all the way down to the bottom. And my uncle who ran the saw couldn't get to the tree fast enough. If the branches were in the way, he'd have to trim branches and that would slow him down. So my job was to go as fast as I could, clear all the branches out, and then let him cut the wood. And I was doing that at 5. All right. And then he was a deacon at the church. And so deacons are responsible for making sure the church is running the right way and, the maintenance and everything, all of that. So I would go clean bathrooms with him, right? As a kid, I just loved being with my grandpa. I just loved working hard as a kid. I had the can-do attitude. I had the can-do spirit. As a kid, it was just ingrained in me because I saw my grandparents working hard and I was partially raised by them. And so I just had this tenacious, just wanting to like get things done. And so he would say, "Okay." I wanted to take the lawnmower away from him, but I wasn't. Sometimes at certain points I wasn't big enough to push it. And so as I got big enough to push the lawnmower, I'd be out there with him, Saturday mornings after working all week. Saturday mornings, we out there cutting grass early in the morning at the church before it got hot, sweeping the church, things like that. And he would pay me a little bit, a couple of cents here and there. And, I was happy with that, but I just really loved being with my grandpa and working hard. And over the years, I just kept that same work ethic. At 13, making, I think it was $2.10 an hour, standing on my feet for 12 hours a day at a fast food restaurant, busting suds because I needed the money at that time because we were broke. Ain't no shame in me telling you folks this. I grew up poor in a rural area with not much opportunity. And so you had to drive miles and miles and miles. And so my mom, bless her heart, I love my mom for this. She would wake up. I couldn't drive yet. I didn't have a car. I didn't have a permit. She would drive me for an hour to get to work. And then she would come pick me up. And so I would help her out with gas money and stuff like that. And, I was able to buy school clothes and then help my mom pay some bills and things like that. So, I started that when I was 13 and even younger at some points. And by the time I was 16, I was working at one of the busiest Burger Kings in the world. And was able to buy a car. I was one of the only kids in high school, black kids anyway, with a car at that time. I was in 11th grade when I got my first car. And went down there and my mom helped me get the car and stuff. And then, I would work, put gas in my car, buy the insurance and drive to school and then go to work and then come home. And then, but during the summer, I was opening up that Burger King at 4 o'clock in the morning, making those biscuits and it taught me something. And I want you guys to bear with me in this because it taught me something. I grew up going to church and hearing the Bible, but, I was a kid. I really didn't understand what I was listening to, but I kept hearing it and I would read it. And it would soak into my mind. And here are some of the things that I want to share with you that, that soaked in my mind and they stayed there. Proverbs 22:29. Go look this up when you have a chance. Do you see a man diligent and skillful in his business? He will stand before kings. He will not stand before obscure men. Luke 16:10, NIV. Whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with much. And whoever is dishonest with very little will also be dishonest with much. Very important stuff. Very important stuff. Proverbs 13:11. Dishonest money dwindles away, but whoever gathers money little by little makes it grow. And these are some very, very important things. And I want you to go back and check these things out when you have time. You may not be a Christian or whatever. That doesn't bother me. Knowledge is knowledge, right? As I said at the very beginning of the show, this stuff is important. So these are some key things I want you to hone in on. So I want to start with what I looked at here. All right. So we looked at Luke 16:10, whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with much. And whoever is dishonest with very little will also be dishonest with much. So that 16-year-old kid, Harold Green, aka G Money, that was my nickname. That's what everybody started calling me, G Money, in high school, right? It was pretty cool. I loved having a nickname because it was something different. But that propelled me to a much different level in life. Just that experience right there. And it was also my downfall because I didn't handle that responsibility the right way. I ended up getting greedy, doing something wrong, and not doing things the right way. And I actually got myself fired. That was one of the low points in my life. I got myself fired. I went from being a trusted person with the keys to the most successful Burger King in the United States to getting my butt fired. What a freaking idiot. It was so hard to get a job after that because people wouldn't trust me anymore because of what I got fired for. I'm not going to say what it was, but it was something where I should have done something different. That's all I can tell you. But I got myself fired, right? And it broke my heart because my granddad didn't raise me like that. I didn't learn that behavior from my upbringing. I learned that behavior because I got greedy. And what happened was I began to do things that just were not within my character. And so I had to go through a character rebuilding process. And it was hard after that because those were the very formative years of my life. And so I went through that process. I got my life back on track. I ended up graduating high school, still working hard, got another job, proved myself again, and just rose back up. It's even in high school, working hard and being trusted. I never violated that trust again, ever, ever, ever. That trust was never violated ever again. And so from there, joined the military, right? Became an air traffic controller, a very high stress job. You have to be trusted in that job. They don't just let anybody become air traffic controllers in the military. You're dealing with millions and billions of dollars worth of equipment, people's lives, pilots that are, highly trained, highly skilled, just war machine type of stuff, and it's insane. And you had to kind of keep a tight lip about what you're doing. So you had to be trusted. And so with that being said, went through the military, got out of that, and ended up getting into insurance and things like that. And again, before I got into that, it was restaurant management again. So I was a restaurant manager, assistant manager, and all of that. And then I didn't want to do that. And so I got into the corporate world of insurance and things like that. And again, I rose to the top of that. And so because I was trusted with little, my bosses could trust me with little, right? And so because I wasn't dishonest in that, I began to have opportunities for more things to happen for me. And the reason why I'm sharing this with you folks is because of this. I believe that if you are in the middle class and you are working a W-2 job, there's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But I'm talking about the people who realize and they say, hey, you know what? I think I can do a little bit better than this. I think I want a little bit better than this. How do I go about striking out and just reaching and maximizing my full potential, which is very important. But you're going to have to start with your character and you're going to have to look inside and you're going to see if you can be trusted or not. Like, what are you doing right now? Are you being trusted with where you are right now? Because I'm telling you something, opportunity will find you. And then here's my next point. Let's go back. Let's go and talk about the skillful and the diligent man. Proverbs 22:29. Do you see a man diligent and skillful in his business? He will stand before kings. He will not stand before obscure men. Diligent and skillful in his business. Are you diligent and skillful in managing your business, right? Are you taking care of your business? Now, I'm not talking about in the sense of owning a business per se, but handle your business, right? This is what we're talking about. When we say handle your business, are you handling your business? Are you handling things with your wife the right way? Are you handling things with your kids the right way? Are you handling things at work the right way? Are you diligent and skillful and honest and handling your business? If you're not going to go very far with that. I've seen some very successful people fall. right? Because they weren't faithful with the little. And when they got much, it was the same thing. There's some kind of character flaw that will jump up and bite you in the butt no matter how successful you become. And you guys can just watch any successful person on TV that been at the top and then went to the bottom. You can all see the same kind of patterns, right? Diligent and skillful in your business. Because if you are, opportunities for success will find you. This is how the universe works. It's not one of those things where it's just like willy nilly, everything happens willy nilly, right? We have planes that fly, we have like medical advancement, we have all these things. It's because somebody was diligent and skillful in their craft and handling their business. And that's what I want to talk to you about that. And as you go through life, here's what I want you to do. Okay. I want you to be, as you're doing these things, you're diligent, you're skillful, you're honest, and things aren't going your way. I want you to sit down and I want you to ask God this question. I don't care what you believe, but just say, God, what can I do to fix my situation and make it better? Or how do I get myself from where I am right now? Like, what is it that I can do? What is it that I can do that I'm not doing? How can I get better at this? Like, what is it that I'm missing? And then just sit there. And I don't care how many times you have to do this, but I guarantee you an answer will come to you because it has come to me many, 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 many times. Because what I'm doing is I'm asking him these questions like, hey, okay, you know what? This is all I got right here. This is what I have. How do I make this better? What am I missing? What am I not doing? What am I not seeing? Who am I not talking to? Am I getting up at a good time and putting in the work? Am I doing the work? Am I being honest? Am I being diligent? Where am I falling short? These are all questions that you're going to have to self examine yourself because you don't want to wait for somebody else to come and criticize you for not doing something that you should be doing because that's painful. And, I've talked to some people and they said, you're really hard on yourself. You're really hard on yourself. And sometimes I don't know what that means. I don't know if it means I should give myself more of a break. But here's the thing, though. If you're not hard on yourself, somebody else will be hard on you. And if you haven't, as I was talking to my wife last night, I said, I think I'm a very strong person. I said, the reason why I think I'm a strong person is because of all the crap that I went through and I've learned from it. And then it's made me better. And I have a different way of handling things now than I used to before. Before I used to get upset and blame people. I don't get upset and blame people anymore. I just think like, okay, what did I do wrong? How can I get better? What did I do wrong? How can I get better? And then if the answer finally comes and says, you know what, you did everything you could, it's just on them, not on you, then I'm okay with that. But I won't rest until I know what my role in that was. These are all things where we have to self examine ourselves and dig deep. I know this sounds like a therapy session. It might be. This is a financial show. If we're not diligent and skillful in our business and handling our stuff the right way, I mean, things, even our finances, right? That's not going to go right because we have some flaws and we have some buckets with some holes in them. There's some things that we need to shore up and we haven't done that yet. I'll share this with you. I said, some people have pets. And what happens if you yell at your pet every time you come home? What do you think is going to happen if you like yell at your pet and just scream at your pet and abuse your pet and kick your pet? Pretty soon that pet is going to stop coming to the door looking for you. As a matter of fact, they're going to run and hide. Money is the same way. When you abuse money, it will find its way out of your possession. That is just a universal principle. Anything you abuse, you will lose. Anything you protect and you take care of, you will get more of. If you protect your money, you take care of it, you will get more of it. If you value your diligence and your honesty and your integrity, more opportunity will come to you. And this is the premise of becoming successful and starting with little. You will always start with little. Nobody ever starts at the top. We all start somewhere at the bottom, the middle, wherever, because we don't have the skill level it takes to maintain the position of authority that we've been put in. If I didn't have what it takes to own Brightree Financial Group, I wouldn't own Brightree Financial Group. Anytime you put someone in a person in a position of power, and they have character flaws, you're going to see that stuff. And if it's a boss, the company's not going to go well. The employees are going to rebel. It's going to be sour. There's going to be division. There's going to be animosity. There's going to be hate. You have to handle your business the right way, right? In my last show, I talked about the stock market. We did a recap on that. Today, we're still struggling a little bit with that. But I'm telling you, we have strategies in place that will help us fix what got broken last year. It shouldn't have gotten broken. That's okay. But it is what it is, and we are where we are. We're going to handle our businesses this year, and we're going to see some positive returns in our clients' accounts this year because we are going to handle our business the right way. Now, that is not a guarantee, but if we do the things that we need to do, we should be okay. And that's my point, is taking ownership of your situation and not blaming other people, but handling your business. And so I wanted to just kind of share that with you folks today. And this is not really, it wasn't really a financial, how to make $1 billion or nothing like that, but it's kind of like a start. We're going to start small and we're going to capitalize on that. Now, here's some things I want you to think about. A lot of people ask me, how do you get started? Like, I want to own a business. I want to do this. And it's like, okay, listen to yourself. Do you want to own a business, or do you want to create income, or do you want to create a revenue stream? Owning a business, creating a revenue stream, being a business owner, those are all separate things, right? I own Brightree, but I'm also an employee of Brightree. So technically, Brightree kind of owns me, because if I don't come in and work, Brightree goes away. So do I really have a business? Yes and no. I'm providing goods and services to people for a profit. That's important. But I don't look at it as, I'm a business owner, XYZ. No, I'm an employee of my business, right? I work in the business, and that's okay with me. Eventually, will I become a business owner where I totally step back and I don't work in the business? Maybe, but then my clients may not be happy with that. And there may be tons of losses and things like that. So I may not have the kind of business that I can step away from and hand it to someone. So you have to think about those things when you say, hey, I want to own a business. Like, do you want to own a business, or do you want to create income? Because a lot of business owners don't make money. That's a fact. A lot of business owners live on everything they make, and some. They go into debt. And most businesses don't, they don't survive. So this is where you want to start small and say, okay, I want to create income streams. Does it mean I need to own a business, or does it mean maybe I can, trade in the market, or maybe I can open up a small restaurant or something? Think about it from that standpoint, because that's very important where you're going to end up. There's people who own a restaurant, they can't take a day off. One of the favorite places I used to go to, I went there one day and it was closed. It's like, wait a minute, this place is closed? Why? I thought they went out of business. But 2 months later, I went back just to drive by there, and they were open. I said, what? So I went in and it's like, I had to order some food. And I said, you guys were closed for a while. And she said, yeah, the owner was on vacation. I'm like, wow. And that kind of got me right there. If that owner is not there, that restaurant is not making money. And these are things I want you to think about when you say, I want to own a business and, I want to graduate the middle class. It's like how you go about doing it is very, very, very important. So we want to start with the little that you have, and then show you how to take that and make it into something magnificent if we do it the right way, if we partner the right way. So I wanted to drop this on you today, not a super long show, but I just want to encourage you that handle your business, check your character, be diligent, be honest, and opportunity will come for you. Opportunity will come for you. As it says in Psalms, goodness and mercy shall follow you all the days of your life. People don't understand what that means. Like, goodness and mercy shall follow you all the days of your life. Goodness and mercy, opportunity, 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 opportunity will follow you. And you'll have to turn down opportunities. I get opportunities all the time. I've turned them down. Okay? Because I have my focus. I know what it is that I want to do. I know who it is that I want to help. And I know what it's going to take in order to help them. And so if you think you fit into that category, click in my show notes, get on my calendar, and I'd love to talk to you and see that, see that small thing that you're working with, and see if I can help you take that and make it into something magnificent. All right. I'm still cooking this show. You can't live like a rich man with poor man's thinking. I'm still cooking it. It's still on the stove, and I can't wait to get it out and serve it to you. but it's going to take a little time because, again, I stew on these things and I make sure, I have it in my heart, the right things that I want to say to you, because I'm not in the business wanting to hurt anybody's feelings. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. That's not my intent. Some people may get their feelings hurt. It has nothing to do with me. I'm just sharing with you my history, my story, what it is that I did to get from where I was to where I am today. All right. So stay tuned, everybody, for the next show. And until next time, 1, 2, 3, let's get it.
This is thepodcastfactory.com.